Okay, America is in real trouble. We all know this, but what is the root of it? What is the root that has to be severed if you want to heal the nation and bring us back to an understanding of what truth is? What's the root of the problem? Where did this really fester and begin?
Education.
Education. Okay, good. Nothing's going to change until we change education. I want to read this announcement to you verbatim because I think it is awesome. It comes from Joe Lonsdale. He says, in the 20th century, American universities attracted exceptional thinkers in every field and produced an unprecedented wealth of knowledge. Our universities drove scientific progress, pursued truth, and cultivated an intellectually courageous and competent elite. They helped make the United States the most innovative, prosperous, and powerful nation in history. But today, our universities are failing to live up to that legacy. First, stagnant institutional structures have hampered universities' ability to achieve great things. The German model of dividing the university into distinct departments allowed for specialization and focus needed to progress in specific fields. But over time and specialization, scholars began to be isolated and guard their fields from scrutiny. Former New York Times, great breakthroughs in American science since the Manhattan Project, such as the Human Genome Project, the semiconductor revolution, rocket propulsion, have mostly been the result of interdisciplinary collaboration, and few took place within one department. As hyper-specialization drove scholars deeper and deeper into departments, administrative growth at universities exploded, dragging down the entire institution with bloat and bureaucratic politics. Secondly, the sacrifice of liberal Enlightenment values have corrupted academic cultures in their own right. Our society recognized this by endowing universities with public money, trust, and power. In modern universities, all of these values have been lost, as has the legitimacy they impart. Robust debate on important topics is increasingly rare. Uniformity of viewpoint is increasingly demanded. Universities have been captured by new ideologies of intolerance that order subservience and quash those who think differently. The combined effect of these structural and cultural problems is that the elite universities are not attracting the best talent as often, nor producing the kind of leaders we need. Dr. Peter Boghossian, who previously taught at Portland State, will serve as one of the faculty. Many of the independent thinkers who don't adhere to the right academic categories and ideologies, those who might have become leading academics 50 years ago, now find greater self-actualization as entrepreneurs and technologists. Independent thinkers are repelled by intolerant and rigid intellectual environments. When universities are obsessed with hunting heretics, they become incapable of real creative achievement and fall behind. Bad careerist incentives discourage engagement with outsiders, or even with those on the inside who diverge from consensus. In the shadows of these challenges lies a great opportunity. It is possible today, for the first time in generations, to build a new university to compete with top schools. One that attracts the most talented young people in the world and empowers them to pursue truth and innovation. We can, today, found a university that will prepare a new generation of leaders to think for themselves about all sides of an issue, speak truth to power, and take power back from ideologues. I've spent my entire life founding and helping build mission-driven companies to provide long-term value to our society. I've made a great deal of money by doing so. This year, I'm embarking on a very different kind of venture, a philanthropic one that many have told me is crazy, but grounded in the same long-term mindset. I'm founding the University of Austin. The University of Austin is at its heart a project based on optimism. By getting the values, incentives, and interdisciplinary structure right from the beginning, we can restore the classically liberal university and the Enlightenment values that made our civilization what it is. We can show off something so compelling that it inspires a revival of the values of free inquiry and pluralism, not just in one university, but in hundreds of universities. And when we do, we can reclaim the civilizational achievements that come from open competition of ideas. As we advance in science and technology and better understand our world and ourselves, we can partner with entrepreneurs to help billions live longer and more prosperous lives. We can find the best ways to protect our natural environment. We can help our fellow citizens find meaning in work and in life. Above all, an open debate will help us preserve the good governance and checks on power embodied in the American founding that make us free. Holy cow, is this fantastic. I'm an optimist on humanity and on innovation. I'm an optimist on America and our civilization. But optimism without action is wishful thinking. Zero-sum thinkers and pessimists have captured too many of our institutions. It's now up to us, especially those of us with the resources to do so, to build new institutions that reflect the principles that we want to define the future. For me, there is nothing more important than making sure that future generations are equipped with the requisite knowledge, virtue, and responsibility to be stewards of a free society. It is time to build America's next great university. I am lucky to be joined in this Herculean task by dozens of courageous men and women, not least my fellow founders, Barry Weiss, Heather Haying, Neil Ferguson, fellow faculty fellows, including Peter Boghossian, Kathleen Stock, Ian Hersey-Alley, and advisors including Robert Zimmer, Steven Pinker, Jonathan Haidt, Glenn Lowry, Tyler Cowan,
wow,
David Mamet.
It's a heck of a list here.
Yeah, this is like a dream list of both points of view, This will not be done by pursuing what is popular or what is conventional, and it will not happen overnight. We are challenging a jealous orthodoxy and expect to be scorned, mocked, and viciously attacked. But with a healthy amount of courage, determination, and yes, money, it can be done. And when we succeed and look back on this time, we will see that it is a small price to pay for all that we have gained from the choice to be bold today. Holy cow. You know, we have been saying for a while that the university system will collapse on its own weight and that education is going to have to change, but it wasn't going to do it before America collapsed on her own weight without somebody giving some sort of leadership and another option. I mean, really, you're down to Hillsdale as the only university you could go to. This university, led by these people, is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. This is the best news I have heard in 20 years. You disagree with me?
I mean, that's a pretty significant statement. I'd have to think back at the last 20, but it's a great announcement.
Can you tell me anything that has happened in 20 years that has the ability to make a true, lasting, not only digital, but brick and mortar difference?
I mean, it's a really encouraging one, right? I mean, I think it's obviously only part of the problem, right? The education has gone awry, as we've been seeing in school board after school board, long before college. And so I think that is, but I mean, you can only do so much. This is, as they point out, a Herculean task.
Yeah, and it's only one guy and a group of scholars, but it's one guy with money. This opens the door, and quite honestly,
shames
other people. Really, I think shames them.
Well, it's hard to figure out what to do in these situations. I mean, we sat here, a lot of shows sat on the air and complained about, let's say, leaving people in Afghanistan. And you and we're working with some other groups as well, were able to do something about that. But it's hard. That's hard. I mean, I think if you hadn't pitched on the air, hey, help us, donate to help us save Americans from Afghanistan and persecuted Christians, a lot of people in the audience, I think, would have sat there and said, well, what can I do about this problem? It's so big, right? The identifying an actual specific effort that can help is such a huge part of the problem, and putting serious, not only money, but thought behind it. This isn't just when you look at the list of people involved here, this isn't just a flippant, hey, we're starting a website. By the way, uaustin.org. I mean, the list is fantastic. A lot of people see this as a problem, and it's not just conservatives for once, which is good.
This is great, because this is some of the best conservative minds and some of the best liberal minds, but classic liberal minds coming together and saying, let's show the world how to think. Let's show America how to think. This is a fantastic step. And I think as this progresses, you will see others that will start to step out in their own field and say, okay, the time is right, and we have the money, because some big entrepreneur will step up to the plate and say, I'm redesigning the meat industry. The meat processing plants, it is corrupt. I'm telling you, it's the closest thing to the mob. It really is. The closest thing to the mob that I have seen. And somebody's going to step up and go, all these farmers, all these ranchers, all of these people are all going to lose their livelihood because of these four companies colluding together. And we can stand up, that we have the money, we have the power, and we're going to stand up and we're just going to build our own system. That's really the key, is building a secondary society.
And for something like this, when we're talking about a university, you wouldn't be able to do this, I don't think, 50 years ago, because there wouldn't be a market for it.
No.
The market has been created by everyone going insane.
Yes, it has been.
There is a market for just normal truth-seeking in the classic way that we all used to do it. Now that's this outlandish idea.
Right. And it won't matter because of the names. If let's say, well, we're not going to give accreditation to that school.
With these names, they will, I think.
Yeah, I know they will. But even if they don't, go pound sand. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Only the political would care. Only the companies that were like, I can't hire you because you have a university degree from that. Then they mark themselves as somebody who is not a free thinker. And it collapses.